sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's begin with the teaching by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One, and homage to our great teacher and noble friend, Pinwat Lokusunanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, so I was thinking what to choose for sutta or to choose for discourse. I thought it's a deep Dhamma class, so theoretically I have to choose a very deep sutta. But I was thinking deep has different meanings. So it can be very deep in the content, but it can also be very deep in the meaning. And we like to hear very deep suttas, but the important thing is that we put those things into practice. So the sutta I choose today on the first view doesn't look that deep in the content, but it's very deep in the meaning and so in the practice. So the Buddha says when you have much Dhamma knowledge, but you don't put it into practice, it's kind of worthless. So if you just know one Dhamma stanza, but you practice accordingly, then this is really practicing, and this is wise consideration. If you just have a lot of knowledge, but you don't act accordingly, then you're missing in wise consideration. So in today's time, we have all those suttas in books. To the Buddha's time, they had to learn them by heart. So it's very easier then to engage in wise consideration, because you straight away, in whatever situation you are, you have something in your mind according to the Dhamma. So what we have to do, even at the deep Dhamma class, it's good to read these discourses by your own again, maybe even to see the same video again. So sometimes we lack mindfulness. We don't listen like 1 hour straight. So we miss some parts. Sometimes we look from different angles. Like our mind is working sometimes in different angles. So we grasp some different things. The sutta today is about patience. So patience is called and praised by the Buddha as the highest virtue, as well as by Lokusunanse. The first time when I met Lokusunanse, he praised again and again patience. So, and at the beginning, I didn't think too much about it, but as more Dhamma, as you learn, you really realize what this patience means. Like patience is, we have to be very patient in the practice as well. The Dhamma develops gradually, our qualities develop gradually. Sometimes our development, our progress, like for example, the meditation is not working like we expecting. So there we need patience. It's the highest virtue in there. Also, like we have to be patient to ourselves with many things, with our development and other things. In other situations, we have to wait in many situations, or we have to be patient when we are sick. When we grow old, we need to be patient as well, and with other people as well. So in every situation, actually, we have to try to practice patience. So we should try to develop this quality. Today we will speak about the Kakacūpama Sutta. It's in English the simile of the saw. It's in Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length discourses, number 21. So one point why I choose this sutta is just a very beautiful sutta. I was thinking about other suttas as well, but I felt like for the first time I was worried about the time we have, and I don't like to hurry in very deep suttas. So it's a good start, I think, for today. It begins as follows. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anata Bindika's park. Now, on that occasion, the Venerable Paguna was associating overmuch with bhikkhunis. So, the Bhikkhu Paguna. He was associating so much with bhikkhunis that if any bhikkhu spoke dispraise of those bhikkhunis, so bhikkhuni is like a nun. Like to the Buddha's time, there lived bhikkhunis. Today, the lineage died out of bhikkhunis. We call it in Mamivnava, we have anagarikas. So they're not high ordained nuns like to the Buddha's time. They're like, because the lineage died out. So if the lineage is dying out, same will be with the monks. Then it's not like a high ordination like from the Buddha. So the bhikkhu lineage continues going from the Buddha's time without any interruption. And this unfortunately was not happening with the bhikkhunis. So as the Buddha is not alive anymore, they can't come back into life. He was associating so much with bhikkhunis that if any bhikkhu spoke dispraise of those bhikkhunis in his presence, he would become angry and displeased and would make a case of it. And if any bhikkhu spoke dispraise of the Venerable Paguna in those bhikkhunis' presence, they would become angry and displeased and would make a case of it. So much was the Venerable Paguna associating with bhikkhunis. So when you go into homelessness as a monk or as a nun, we leave the household life, so we should try to have some distance from the opposite sex, as it is the greatest obstacle actually for the development, for spiritual development, like sensual desire and like the opposite sex. So that's why monks and nuns not should spend unnecessarily time together. We spend time together to teach the Dhamma, maybe to discuss the Dhamma, but usually also not alone. So a monk always takes a companion with him. This has many reasons, like there are many cases to the Buddha's time where many transgressions happened, where they broke their precepts or something because of this association. And like here, you see there's a bound between them, like anger and being displeased with other persons when they speak dispraising words about the nuns. That's not what a bhikkhu should do. Like, we should not get angry. We train not to get angry. We left the household life to like cut all bonds from the worldly life. So we shouldn't break things like this then. Then a certain bhikkhu ran to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and told the Blessed One what was taking place. So here we can see the behavior, like he doesn't go straight away to the bhikkhu, he goes to the teacher, to the Supreme Buddha, that because he's the teacher, so he should solve the situation. Then the Blessed One addressed a certain bhikkhu thus: "Come, bhikkhu, tell the bhikkhu Mulya Paguna in my name that the teacher calls him." "Yes, Venerable Sir," he replied, and he went to the Venerable Mulya Paguna and told him, "The teacher calls your friend Paguna." "Yes, friend," he replied. And he went to the Blessed One, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. The Blessed One asked him, Paguna, is it true that you are associating overmuch with bhikkhunis? That if any bhikkhu speaks dispraise of those bhikkhunis in your presence, you become angry and displeased and make a case of it? And if any bhikkhu speaks dispraise of you in those bhikkhunis' presence, they become angry and displeased and make a case of it? Are you associating so much with bhikkhunis, as it seems? So here we see again, like, how patiently the Buddha is like acting in the situation. He doesn't accuse him or anything, or even the Buddha knows what happened. Like, he's the supremely enlightened Buddha, so he knows about this situation already. So he asks him, he gives him still the chance to explain without excusation or something. Very calm, he's solving the situation. Are you associating this much? Yes, Venerable Sir. Paguna, are you not a clansman who has gone forth out of faith from the home life into homelessness? Yes, Venerable Sir. Paguna, it is not proper for you, a clansman gone forth out of faith from the home life into homelessness, to associate overmuch with bhikkhunis. Therefore, if anyone speaks dispraise of those bhikkhunis in your presence, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on the household life. And herein you should train thus: my mind will be unaffected, and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare with a mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. That is how you should train, Paguna. So he should abandon any desires and thoughts based on a household life. These are like thoughts of sensual desire, thoughts of ill will, and thoughts of harming. So as a bhikkhu, but also as a lay person, we should try to abandon as much of them as we can. So it's never good in any situation, also not as a lay person, to harbor anger or ill will. And here the Buddha says, thus should you train yourself. This is a direct order from the Buddha, like how we should train. So it's a very important passage when the Buddha is mentioned to us, thus should you train. So these are actually the main passages where we should reflect again and again about. So the Buddha says here, if somebody is speaking dispraise or anything, our mind should be unaffected, and we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for the welfare of this person. Even he speaks bad words, displeasing words, we should still have compassion with a mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. If anyone gives those bhikkhunis a blow with his hand, with a clod, with a stick, or with a knife in your presence, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on the household life. And herein you should train thus: my mind will be unaffected. The Buddha straight away gives the same advice again: train in this way. If anyone speaks dispraise in your presence, so about yourself, if somebody dispraises you, you should abandon any desire and any thoughts based on a household life. And herein you should train thus. So the Buddha gives the same advice again, that you should stay compassionate with a mind of loving kindness for the person. Doesn't matter if he speaks dispraise of the bhikkhunis, of other persons, or even about yourself. If anyone, or not only speak dispraise, we had already the passage with cloth, with a stick, or with a knife for other persons, and now for ourselves as well. If anyone should give you a blow with his hand, with a cloth, with a stick, or with a knife, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on a house of life. And here
repeat that phrase based on what?
Household life.
Household life, sorry.
So this means like we went forth as bhikkhus. So normally the translation is like this. We call it household life, are like the ordinary people, like you all are living the household life. That's the translation usually. And we are the one who went forth from the household life. Theoretically, we are homeless. So if anyone should give you a blow with his hand, with a clod, with a stick, or with a knife, you should abandon any desire and thoughts based on the household life. And herein you should train thus. My mind will be unaffected, and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare, with a mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. That is how you should train Paguna. So this sounds for us maybe unimaginable. Somebody attacks us with his fist and even with the clod or with the knife, and we should be compassionate to this person. It's unbelievable, right? So this is what I say. At least for sure, like the meaning is very deep. Like what we should do, this is very hard to do. So in this case, this sutta belongs in this class, in the deep Dhamma class. So it's the target set from our enlightened teacher. There's nobody in the world who would like tell you right now, no life coach, no anybody to act like this. They would say, are you crazy? Everybody of those great teachers in today's time, but they don't see the reality. So we have to understand when we read that, we need to develop faith in the Buddha. We need to really like read suttas to gain faith. So if we have any doubt in the Buddha, we should start continuing. We should read the suttas. We should contemplate about those things. We should gain faith in these qualities from the Buddha, that he's the enlightened teacher, that he really realized those things. Otherwise, we are lost in suttas like this, and we gain a lot of bad karma by having distrust in the Buddha, or like losing even confidence when we read a sutta like this, or feel like I will never act like this. He can tell me what he want. I don't act like this. It's very hard to act like this. I'm not acting like this. I'm not able to do so, but it should be our target somehow in the mind. So, but this, we have to analyze this wisely. This doesn't mean like we go with our face into every fist or whatever. Like we try to avoid those situations. You have to see the Buddha's teaching all together. Like in other discourses, he shows things from other angles. And he says, for example, we should avoid bad people and bad friends and things like this. And even dangerous situations, we should avoid snakes. We should avoid wild elephants, wild dogs. So we try to avoid those situations. So first we avoid those situations. And we also can try to run away or something if it is possible. These situations are meant for situations where you can't do anything like except patiently endure. Let's say somebody's really, there's a group like who brutally like striking you with fists, and you can't do anything. You're just lying there and you are going to die. So it's not good to die with an angry mind, with a mind full of hate, with thoughts of when I get them, I will kill them or something. That's not helpful thoughts in this situation, because we can't change this situation anymore. So they produce very bad karma in harming us. So we should not produce bad karma as well. We should try as good as we can, stay there, patient with equanimity in situations, whatever situations we face. Retraining this. This is just a target, and gradually we try to develop in this direction. And like I said before, it's for you. So when you see situations, like even when your mother or your wife, your girlfriend, or even your daughter or son getting hit, like it's not the right thing to act with anger. Same like for us as well, if we have these problems. So yes, we wish to defend our son, our daughter, our loved ones. But if we get angry, like we don't make the situation better. So if we stay calm with a calm mind, with the mind of loving kindness for everybody, even for the person who attacks our loved ones or ourselves, then we have a clear mind and can think, how can I make the best out of this situation? Then the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, there was an occasion when the bhikkhus satisfied my mind. Here I address the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, I eat at a single session. By doing so, I'm free from illness and affliction, and I enjoy lightness, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Come, bhikkhus, eat at a single session. By so doing, you will be free from illness and affliction, and you will enjoy lightness, strength, and a comfortable abiding. And I had no need to instruct those bhikkhus. I had only to arouse mindfulness in them. So what has this to do with the situation before? It's like the bhikkhu, Paguna, the Buddha is speaking to. Even the Buddha is like admonishing him like this, advising like this. He's not taking this advice. So even to the Buddha's time, monks who directly spoke to the Buddha not always took straight away the advice. So we can learn from that even if we have difficulties, even if I say to you, you should have trust in the Buddha, if you feel now like, oh, I don't have this trust, what's wrong with me? You see, even to the Buddha's time, because who spoke straight away to the Buddha didn't have this faith straight away to act like the Buddha says. Even they rejected the advice. So you don't need to worry about it. We have just to be mindful about it. It's the case, maybe. I don't have this trust right now, but you should try to develop this trust. So it's a good thing to already mindfully see, right now I don't possess this trust. So, and then you should put an effort somehow to develop it. And this situation is the bhikkhus before, at the beginning of the Buddha's period of time, they ate even in the evening. They had an evening meal as well. That's what the situation is about. So the Buddha said to them, they should just eat till noon. And to this time, most of the bhikkhus straight away, even if they might not straight away understood, if they felt like, I don't wish to do that, but even if they didn't understand, they still like complied to what the Buddha said straight away. That's why the Buddha is saying about this situation. Suppose, now the Buddha is saying this in a simile, suppose there was a chariot on even ground at a crossroads, harnessed to thoroughbreds, waiting with gold, lying ready, so that a skilled trainer, a charioteer of horses to be tamed, might mount it and take the reins in his left hand and the goad in his right hand. So might drive out and back by any road whenever he liked. So too, I had no need to keep instructing those because I had only to arouse mindfulness in them. So they straight away complied to what the Buddha said. They had this faith. So if you have this faith in the Buddha, that the Buddha knows and sees in the qualities of the Buddha, then you will straight away comply to what the Buddha is saying. Then you're not doubting his advice, and then it's very easier for the Buddha to instruct you. Therefore, bhikkhus, abandon what is unwholesome and devote yourself to wholesome states, for that is how you will come to growth, increase, and fulfillment in this Dhamma and discipline. Suppose there were a big sala tree grove near a village or town, and it was choked with castor oil weeds. and some man would appear desiring its good welfare and protection. He would cut down and throw out the crooked saplings that robbed the sap, and he would clean up the interior of the grove and tend the straight, well-formed saplings so that the solid regrowth later on would come to growth, increase, and fulfillment. So it means just he takes off in the forest, he just takes off all the bad saplings and attends the good saplings. So two bhikkhus abandon what is unwholesome and devote yourself to wholesome states. For that is how you will come to growth, increase, and fulfillment in this Dhamma discipline. So this means the reed are the unwholesome states. So you try to abandon them. All unwholesome states, that what we do in the Buddha's teaching, we try to abandon unwholesome states and develop wholesome states. So wholesome states like patience, loving kindness, compassion, and we try to abandon unwholesome states like anger and ill will. We try to get rid of it. And like the Buddha mentioned here with the mind of loving kindness. So this means when you have anger, you abandon it. You try to abandon it, for example, with loving kindness. This is how you attend to the wholesome states. Formerly, bhikkhus, in this same Savatthi, there was a housewife named Vedehika, and a good report about Mistress Vedehika had spread thus: Mistress Vedehika is gentle, Mistress Vedehika is meek, Mistress Vedehika is peaceful. Now Mistress Vedehika had a maid named Kali, who was clever, nimble, and neat in her work. The maid Kali thought, "The good report about my lady has spread thus. Mistress Vedehika is gentle, she's meek, she's peaceful. How is it now, while she does not show anger, is it nevertheless actually present in her, or is it absent? Or else, is it just because my work is neat that my lady shows no anger, though it is actually present in her? Suppose I test my lady." So it's just normal to the Buddha's time that people had a maid. I mean, it's still normal in poor countries that they have maids at home. And this maid who does a good work wants to test if her mistress is really patient and meek like it looks like. Or if there are the conditions, if there are the right conditions, that she will show anger. If she might not show anger because she has a very pleasing life, because of her maid is doing everything proper, so why should she be angry? So the maid Kali got up late. Then Mistress Vedehika said, "Hey Kali, what is it, madam? What is the matter that you get up so late?" "Nothing is the matter, madam." "Nothing is the matter, you wicked girl? Yet you get up so late?" And she was angry and displeased, and she scolded. So it's a very small thing. She just got up one time, she got up late, and this lady is already straight away displeased. So we might know people like this, or we don't know them because we don't meet them in these situations. Like we meet many people, and many people look very friendly to us, but this is often on the surface. If you just see them once a week for 10 minutes, they are super friendly to you, but just because you don't see them many times, maybe they are not that friendly like they are supposed to. Then the maid Kali thought, the fact is that while my lady does not show anger, it is actually present in her, not absent. And it is just because my work is neat that my lady shows no anger, though it is actually present in her, not absent. Suppose I test my lady a little more. So the maid Kali got up later in the day. Then Mistress Vedehika said, "Hey Kali, what is it, madam? What is the matter that you get up later in the day?" "Nothing is the matter, madam. Nothing is the matter, you wicked girl. Yet you get up later in the day." And she was angry and displeased, and she spoke words of displeasure. Then the maid Kali thought, the fact is that while my lady does not show anger, it is actually present in her, not absent. And it is just because my work is neat that my lady shows no anger, so it is actually present in her, not absent. Suppose I test my lady a little more. So the maid Kali got up still later in the day. That the mistress, Vedika, said, "Hey Kali, what is it, madam? What is the matter that you still get up late in the day?" "Nothing is the matter, madam." "Nothing is the matter, you wicked girl, yet you get up still later in the day." And she was angry and displeased, and she took a rolling pin, gave a blow on the head, and cut her head. Just for getting up later. I mean, it was 3 times, but... And she had a good report, right? Before, she had a good report in her village or town. Then a maid Kali, with blood running from her cut head, denounced her mistress to the neighbors. "See, ladies, the gentle lady's work. See, ladies, the meek lady's work. See, ladies, the peaceful lady's work. How can she become angry and displeased with her only maid for getting up late? How can she take a rolling pin, give a blow on the head, and cut her head?" Then later on, a bad report about Mistress Vidhika spread thus: "Mistress Vidhika is rough. Mistress Vidhika is violent. Mistress Vidhika is merciless." So quickly is your reputation changed, right? Everything is impermanent, like. So too, bhikkhus. Some bhikkhus are extremely gentle, extremely meek, extremely peaceful, so long as disagreeable causes of speech do not touch him. But it is when disagreeable causes of speech touch him that it can be understood whether that bhikkhu is really kind, gentle, and peaceful. I do not call a bhikkhu easy to admonish, who is easy to admonish and makes himself easy to admonish, only for the sake of getting robes, alms food, a resting place, and medicinal requisites. Why is that? Because that bhikkhu is not easy to admonish, nor makes himself easy to admonish, when he gets no robes, alms food, resting place, and medicinal requisites. But when a bhikkhu is easy to admonish and makes himself easy to admonish, because he honors, respects, and reveres the Dhamma, him I call easy to admonish. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should train thus. We shall be easy to admonish and make ourselves easy to admonish, because we honor, respect, and revere the Dhamma. That is how you should train bhikkhus. So it's the same for bhikkhus as well as for lay people. I mean, our life might seem very peaceful, and if it is very peaceful, we don't have any reason to get angry, right? But we also can face difficulties, like sometimes the food is not agreeable, sometimes we might have not enough time to eat, sometimes we would like to have medicine or something else to eat, or we need a new robe, or our room is maybe not agreeable for whatever reason. So we face those things as well. And like when we face those things, then others can see if we are really peaceful or if we are not. Or if lay people, they can scold us as well. Like, I mean, there come many people to the monastery who have never spoken to a monk. They can speak rude to us. Like, even if they see us, they can like make jokes about us. Like, they can say like you're wearing a dress or something. Like things like this. Like my own brother, for example. So in situation like this, you can see if you're really patient or like you can see you have to improve. Because there are these 5 courses of speech that others may use when they address you. Their speech may be timely or untimely, true or untrue, gentle or harsh, connected with good or with harm, spoken with a mind of loving kindness or with inner hate. So these are 5 causes of speech which others could use when they address us. So these are kind of all variations of speech. One side is right speech, how we should speak, and the other side is theoretically wrong speech, how we should not speak. So we should practice right speech on the one side, but we should patiently endure also all kind of speech, also wrong speech. So if somebody speaks to us in an untimely situation, we are in a hurry or something, it doesn't mean we need patiently listen to him what he's saying, but we should not get angry. We can say, I have no time now, I'm sorry, and you still can leave without being angry, right? Even if he doesn't understand, you still should not get angry or something at least. You can leave, that's okay, but you should not get angry or have any bad mental state in your mind. Same for if somebody lies to you, can happen. There are many people who lie, so we should just be aware of it. It's just the nature of things. Like sometimes some people talk the truth, sometimes the untruth. But we don't need to be angry for it. It's not helpful. That's the point about it. It's not helpful to any way to be affected mentally. It doesn't change the situation. A liar is a liar. So if you are angry or if you are with the mind of loving kindness towards him. Same as somebody speaking harsh to you. Like somebody can use very displeasing words to you. So there's no reason to use harsh words bad. We can solve the situation otherwise. Like we still can speak gentle. We still can have loving kindness. We should try to have loving kindness all the time. We practice this. It's a practice. So if we can't speak gentle words in a situation, then we just don't say anything in a situation and wait till we calm down. If we can't, then we try to go away. So we need to try always to make the best out of the situation. And if we feel like I'm getting angry, then it's maybe better to leave in the situation and calm down and then think in a calm place about how you can solve the situation. And then later talk about the situation. But we don't need to make the situation worse. So even if your mind feels not calm, that's happened. That's just the nature of the mind. We should be aware of it. You can't be 24 hours calm. You're not enlightened. Say me. So we need to train little by little to make the best out of the situation. And at least we don't put oil in the fire, more oil in the fire if we don't get angry. So yes, the fire is there and it's pretty hot close to the fire. It's not comfortable. But if we put more fuel in the fire, it's getting worse the situation. So shouting back makes the situation worse. So we at least make the best out of the situation, even if it doesn't feel at the moment. Even if you feel like it's not fair, I should always feel good, it won't be happen. So, but we can make the best out of situations. And this is, if we take the advice from the Buddha, then we will make the best out of this situation. So that's why we have the Buddha as a teacher. We don't need to search for another teacher. We just need to patiently learn and listen to the Buddha's discourse. There's everything inside we need to know and to practice. So when others address you, their speech could be in those 5 ways mentioned. We will mention it again. Don't worry about if you don't remember it. Here in Bhikkhus, you should train thus. So if others address you with whatever kind of speech, our minds will remain unaffected. And we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare with the mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. We shall abide pervading that person with the mind imbued with loving kindness, and starting with him, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with the mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. This is how you should train. So for this sutta, the answer is, like you ask, is exactly like this. So you should spread loving kindness to this person and then to the all-encompassing world. It's not an easy thing, but it's very hard, like to train like this, but you should have confidence, and little by little it's getting better. At least your anger is reduced for a little moment or something. Maybe it comes back, but you train again like this. And we have to train it again and again. But there are also different techniques. But this is the most effective technique, like for anger and ill will. It's loving kindness, actually, to spread loving kindness. We should patiently endure wrong speech and have right speech. This is the target set from our enlightened teacher. Like we said, it's not easy. We practice it and we try to get there gradually. It's a gradually training. So if we have this, if we actually patiently endure wrong speech, many good qualities develop while doing this from the Noble Eightfold Path. First, there has to be right view to know, like, let's say first there's right intention. So first we wish to have right intention. Right intention means right thought. This means we don't want to have an angry thought or a thought of ill will. We want to have a thought full of loving kindness, full of compassion. You want to have good thoughts. So this means this would be right intention, what we want to have. To have this, we need right view. Right view in this case means you can discern between right intention and wrong intention. You know a thought of ill will, a thought of harming, or a thought of sensual desire would be wrong intention. And thought of renunciation, thought of loving kindness, thought of compassion would be right intention. So we want to have right intention. To have this right intention, we need right view to know this. Right view is your wisdom, your wise consideration, to discern what is right, what is wrong, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is good, what is bad, what is beneficial, what is harmful. This is your right view in this case, or your wise consideration. So then you need to have the right effort as well. The right effort to abandon wrong intention. So to abandon a wrong state of mind, like a state of ill will, you need to put effort to abandon a wrong state and to enter up and abide in a right state. A mind, for example, of loving kindness. And you need mindfulness as well. You need to be mindful which state of mind do you have at the moment. And when you have a thought of loving kindness, then you have right mindfulness if you're mindful about the state. So they're developing many good qualities. And even we might say, if you do this, you also develop right speech because you don't want to break out in angry words. So at least you don't say anything. So at least you don't have wrong speech. And if you can say something with loving kindness, even in a situation like this, then you have right speech. But let's say you would practice even right speech in this situation. And we could say, as you don't practice wrong action, you don't attack the person or something. You stay calm in a situation. You could say, theoretically, you practice also right action in this situation. And so you don't kill him or harm him in any way. So this would be right action. If you have all those factors, and if you develop in a situation like this, loving kindness, immeasurable, this means you're free from hindrances and you would even have right concentration in a situation like this. There are arahants who have this in situations like this. So it just means, like, if you practice like this, you develop the Noble Eightfold Path. You don't do anything else than to develop the Noble Eightfold Path, the path to enlightenment, the path to happiness. So if we practice it like in a sutta, we develop happiness. We develop the path to happiness. Bhikkhus, suppose a man with a hoe. So now there comes a series of similes. It's just to make this point more clear. Because suppose a man came with a hoe and a basket and said, I shall make this great earth to be without earth. He would dig here and there. So the earth, so the whole world we are living on right now, this earth, he's trying to make this without earth. And he tries to dig with a hoe. So he would dig here and there, strew the soil here and there, spit here and there, and urinate here and there, saying, be without earth, be without earth. What do you think, bhikkhus? Could that man make this great earth to be without earth? No, venerable sir. Why is that? Because this great earth is deep and immeasurable. It is not easy to make it to be without earth. Eventually, the man would reap only weariness and disappointment. So too, bhikkhus, there are these 5 causes of speech. The Buddha repeats the 5 causes of speech, so untimely and harsh, and whatever others could address us. And here in bhikkhus, you should train thus, our mind will remain unaffected, and we should spread loving kindness, first to the person and then to the whole world, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. That is how you should train bhikkhus. So what does it mean? What does this simile has to do with that? This means whatever you do with the great earth, the earth doesn't care. The earth isn't affected if somebody is urinating on the earth or somebody is digging the earth or whatever somebody is doing with the great earth. It doesn't matter to the earth. The great earth is the great earth. It doesn't change. And in the same way, we should try to be unaffected in our mind, whatever somebody addresses us with whatever kind of speech. So the simile also is another way to answer your question as well. So yes, we spread loving kindness, but we also can think in situations, whatever, and somebody addresses us with bad words, we think, I'm like the great earth, and we just think about this simile. So we think I'm getting attacked now, but I'm like the great earth. It's not helpful for everybody, but that's why we have many similes, and this is why we have many suttas and many different techniques to counteract about situations. If it, like different medicines, it's would it be that easy to realize the Dhamma and to practice those things? Then we wouldn't need to have that many discourses, right? So, but it's hard to realize this Dhamma, and we have to read this again and again, practice this again and again. That's why we have to do this. Bhikkhus, suppose a man came with crimson, turmeric, indigo, and carmine, so just different colors, and said, I shall draw pictures and make pictures appear on empty space. So he tries to make pictures now here in empty space. Could that man draw pictures and make pictures appear on empty space? No, venerable sir. Why is that? Because empty space is formless and non-manifestive. It is not easy to draw pictures there or make pictures appear there. Eventually, the man would only reap weariness and disappointment. So too, because there are these 5 causes of speech, and so the Buddha gives the advice again and again. This shows the importance of practicing this. We shouldn't be troubled that the advice comes again and again. We should just understand how important this advice is, how many good qualities we can develop when we try to practice in this way. So this is another simile we could use, like space is unaffected. Whatever we do is the empty space. Nothing happened to the empty space. In the same way, our mind should be unaffected and we should practice loving kindness, whatever happens to us. Bhikkhus, suppose a man came with a blazing grass torch and said, I shall heat up and burn away the river Ganges with this blazing grass torch. So, like a grass torch, so just he tries to light with fire, with a piece of wood or something with fire, with a grass torch, they call it here. He tries to burn away one of the biggest rivers to the Buddha's time. Still, today's time, a very big river. What do you think, Buddha, bhikkhus? Could that man heat up and burn away the river Ganges with that blazing grass torch? No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because the river Ganges is deep and immense, and it's not easy to heat it up or burn it away with a blazing grass torch. Eventually, the man would reap only weariness and disappointment. So too, bhikkhus, there are these 5 causes of speech, and you should develop loving kindness. Same way, like the river Ganges, you can't burn it away. He doesn't care if you go there with a grass torch. In the same way, you should be unaffected in your mind. Bhikkhus, suppose there were a cat skin bag that was well rubbed, thoroughly well rubbed, soft, silky, rid of rustling, rid of crackling, and a man came with a stick or a potsherd and said, there's this catskin bag that is rubbed, rid of rustling and crackling. I shall make it rustle and crackle. What do you think, bhikkhus? Could that man make it rustle or crackle with the stick or the potsherd? No, Venerable Sir. He couldn't. He would eventually only reap weariness and disappointment. So same as somebody addresses us with words and we are not affected in mind, we just stay calm, he would just reap weariness and disappointment with us to try to make us angry. Wouldn't this be beautiful? Like, if anybody addresses us whatever and we just stay calm. So I have another simile in my mind, just other bhikkhu told this to me, like when I should face difficult situations, I should just feel like a doormat. So everybody just can put his feet on myself. It's fine for me. So, as a bhikkhu, we get like much honor or something. So many people worship us. So, you can get easily conceited if you don't reflect wisely on this. You feel maybe like better, or you could get arrogant. This happened to many bhikkhus who are not reflecting wisely. And everybody's showing honor to you, like maybe 1 year constantly. Everybody's just treating you very nice. And then somebody comes and doesn't treat you nice. So we have to stay in this situation calm as well. We as a bhikkhu as well. We have to train this again and again. Like whatever situation comes, maybe 1 year you don't face any bad situation. And then suddenly whatever will come, doesn't matter. Maybe you have a heart attack, or you have an accident, or somebody is hitting you, or whatever happens. So what we train here is like to be ready for every case which might happen. The Buddha finally repeats, and I will repeat it again, the rays of speech. So too, bhikkhus, that these 5 causes of speech that others may use when they address you. Their speech may be timely or untimely, true or untrue, gentle or harsh, connected with good or with harm, spoken with a mind of loving kindness or with inner hate. So this also means, like these 5 rays of speech, we should have all of them together when we speak. This would be the perfect speech. It's not enough just to speak only with loving kindness. It also needs to be to the right time, It should be gentle as well. It should be beneficial as well. Like, not every criticism is helpful. So we don't need to criticize always people. We should first start with ourselves, criticize ourselves, search the mistakes by ourselves, and not criticize always people. That's not what this speech is about, that we should criticize always or something. It's not what is meant. It's not always beneficial then. So we have to have all factors together. So it should be beneficial, connected with truth, timely, with loving kindness, and gentle. Here in Bhikkhus, you should train yourself thus. Our minds will remain unaffected, and we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare with the mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. We shall abide pervading that person with the mind imbued with loving kindness, and starting with him, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind similar to a catskin bag. This was the last simile. Abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. That is how you should train bhikkhus. So the Buddha mentioned here, like I said, many similes, and again is the same very valuable advice. So we really should try to practice like this. And now there comes the final simile, because maybe you remember the title, Simile of the Saw. Till now we didn't hear anything from the Simile of the Saw. So it's mentioned after the final simile. It's a very famous simile, the last one, which is coming now. Bhikkhus, even if bandits were to sever you savagely, limb by limb, with a two-handled saw. So they're very cruel persons who savagely sever your limbs now with a two-handled saw, probably one of the one side, one of the other side, and they savage your limb. They sever your limb right now, very brutally. He who gave rise to a mind of hate towards them would not be carrying out my teaching. Here in Bhikkhus, you should train thus. Our minds will remain unaffected, and we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare with the mind of loving kindness, without inner hate. We shall abide pervading them with the mind imbued with loving kindness, and starting with them, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with the mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. That is how you should train. So similar like in the loving kindness meditation, which you had here before, very peaceful, just you could sit calm by yourself and train it. In the same way, you should try to practice it if somebody is like cutting your limbs. So that's why we train it first in a calm way. So if we practice those things regularly, then it will be easier in more difficult situations as well. Bhikkhus, if you keep this advice on the simile of the saw constantly in mind, do you see any cause of speech, trivial or gross, that you could not endure? No, venerable sir. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should keep this advice on the simile of the saw constantly in mind. That will lead to your welfare and happiness for a long time. That is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So the Buddha says here, at last, therefore. So therefore, in this case, the Buddha says, therefore, so that you are not moved in any way if somebody addresses you with bad words. Just for this, it's enough to keep this simile in your mind. Hopefully, nobody of us will ever be like in a case like this where somebody will sever your limbs. So hopefully not. So, but if we have the most extreme case we can ever imagine in our mind, which could theoretically happen, and somebody addresses us with bad words, so we can stay very calm in the situation when we realize like he could now hit me, or he could like attack me with a knife, or he could even sever my limbs brutally, but he's just addressing me with rude words. So he's a very kind person, isn't he? So that's the thing why we train like this. So we wish to stay calm in whatever situation comes. This is the way how we have to train. This is the way how we develop ourselves, how we get rid of bad qualities, how we go unmoved to life and can face all situations in life in the best possible way. We can't avoid all situations that won't happen. It's not possible. But we can change our way, how we react to those situations, to make the best out of all situations which might we face. This is the target where we wish to go. So we gradually try just to develop there, do our best, wisely reflecting on those things. That's why we have to read it again, because our mind likes to forget it again. And as more as we read this, as more as we reflect on it, as deeper we will get it in mind. And when we face difficult situations, straight away things like this will come up. And this similarly, many enlightened monks mention those simile in different situations. Like when you face some difficulties or something, think about this simile of the saw. That's what their advice is, for example. It might not work for everybody again. Again, there are many different similes and many different ways. So you have to figure out what's the best for us, but we should not reject it because we feel like this is too extreme. Like our mind slowly needs to get used to those techniques, because the techniques we learn in today's time is completely different. Like that's the reason our mind is not ready sometimes to listen to those things. They sound too brutally to us, but it's like the reality, like the nightmares we have about like corpses or dying person or whatever. This is theoretically a reality we need to face one day. About our loved ones, it's for most of us for sure happened, but also like even for young loved ones, it can happen. Our children can die, our partner straight away can die in a young age even. And even one day we have to die as well. So we have to face all situations. And this is what the Buddha is. The Buddha sees the reality and shows us the reality and tries to make us ready for the reality that when we die, we can die in a calm state, because we just staying mindful. When we keep virtues, when we are virtuous persons, then we don't have to regret when we die, but we don't harm anybody, then we don't need to have regret. Then we can be very calm and say, I don't wish harm to anybody, so we don't need to worry about death in this case. So that's the reason why we practice all those things. So it would be good if we memorize certain things, like this advice how to train and these 5 courses of speech, and apply them with right consideration to our life. So we really should practice this. And this is the deep thing about this discourse. So if you have thoughts of loving kindness, this is right consideration. Like we said, like right intention, second fact of the Noble Eightfold Path, there are intention of loving kindness and intention of compassion as well, and intention of renunciation. So this counts to wisdom. So we develop wisdom if we spread loving kindness. So having heard these teachings about patience, about developing patience with many similes, may we remember them, reflect upon them, practice them, develop wise consideration, and one day will realize the Four Noble Truth in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sad, sad. As we gained powerful merit today, like we listened to a beautiful sutta from the Enlightened One, and we undertook the 5 precepts, and we practiced loving kindness meditation. So we did today very great deeds, very great merit we gained here together. So as we do so, we wish to share those merit. Let us share this merit first with all the devas. May all the devas rejoice in this merit. May they be well and happy due to this merit. May they protect the good Dhamma. May they protect the beings who practice the good Dhamma. May they will realize the Four Noble Truth in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sad, sad, sad. Let us share all this merit with our great teacher, Lokus Sunanse, who teaches us this Dhamma so well as with all the monks, all the Anagarikas, all lay followers, Mami of Nav Monastery, as well as all Buddhists in the whole world. May they all rejoice in this merit. May they all be well and happy due to this merit. May they all realize the Four Noble Truth in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sad, sad, sad. Let us also share this merit with all our departed relatives. May all of our departed relatives rejoice in this merit. May they be well and happy due to this merit. May they have good food, good drink, good lodging, good medicine, good garments due to this merit. May they will realize the Four Noble Truth in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sad, sad, sad. And may all of us, due to this merits, will be well and happy in this life and future life. May we practice accordingly, and one day we'll realize the Four Noble Truth in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. I'm going to chant blessing for you. Abhivadana silissa niccang vata pacaino chattaro dhamma vadanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarokya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti yaminate samichatu. Namo Buddhaya.